MKBHD, a fellow YouTuber and content creator here on this platform, has his own sneaker. Not just that, he's coming out with a brand new one, and this time around, they're low tops. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today, we got a detailed look and breakdown on Marques Brownlee's brand new shoe. Technically, it's his original shoe, just chopped down in low top form. And this is the Adams MKBHD 251. Now, before we get started, we are on the final days of pre-ordering this badass t-shirt right here. So our Power Up Since 1993 is available currently, along with our Since Icons 24 tee. Grab them while you can, because once they're no longer available for pre-order on the site, that's it. We're not re-releasing them. We've had this thing open for a week now, so get your orders in before it's too late. Links are down below in the description box, or simply go to sinceapparel.com. So first things first, this is his original model. So it's the same model, just a high top version. We had a lot of requests to review this shoe. I apologize, I just never got around to it. We do have them, they are very cool. And for those of you guys wondering like, oh, what the heck is Adams? Adams is actually a footwear company that makes really interesting footwear models. They're sustainable, they're nice, they're super comfortable. Some of them even come in quarter sizes. Both of these models are not those, but for those of you guys that have like, where like, oh, a 9 doesn't quite fit, but a 9.5 feels a little too loose, like you're kind of somewhere in the middle.
Help me! Help me!
You might want to look at Adam's other models, because again, they do have some quarter sizes. And just in case, for whatever reason, you don't know who MKBHD is, like I feel like if you know who we are, you should know who he is. He's a tech YouTuber. He basically does what we do with footwear, but with technology. So I've seen him review everything from cell phones and computers all the way up to vehicles. The stuff that he does is really cool. The way that he basically is honest and as transparent as possible is really reminiscent of what we do here on our channel, but with footwear. And with that said, this is his brand new model. It's a low top version of the 251, so very similar look and feel, just chopped down a little bit to be a little bit more accommodating for most people, because if you don't want to wear something like this, like high tops not for everybody, low tops might be for you. As for the product itself, I think that it's a very nice shoe. It's definitely not a sneakerhead type of shoe, so it's not a sports shoe, it's not a basketball shoe, it's not a performance model that has been turned into a lifestyle model. This guy right here was designed with lifestyle in mind from the get-go, but the overall aesthetics have been influenced by past basketball shoes, like say the Air Jordan 1. And with that, we do have similar tech features or design features, but done up in a more modern take, which I think is really dope. So the midsole and outsole is one piece. It's a full-on cup sole. So when you look at the outsole, it doesn't look like much of anything, but it is all one piece of rubber, and that houses the foam that's inside. And the foam is stupid comfortable. On top of that, all of these little holes that you see throughout the outsole allows that foam to really like move and flex, and it allows the rubber to do the same exact thing. The foam that they use inside that cup sole, again, super comfortable. It's a little bit different than one of their earlier models, like this bad boy right here. These I really like. This is just a very simple, clean shoe, real basic. It's just straight up mesh, no real design to it. It's just ultra functional. But this guy right here had some durability issues with a lot of their original wears, so the outsole does look similar to their newer setup, but it is very much different. This bottom piece that you see all the holes, that is the rubber outsole. The rest of it though, it's not a cup sole. That is the foam. It's fully exposed. This is ultra comfort. This is more muted comfort, but not in a way that it kind of like negates all comfort like a traditional cup sole. Again, the way that they designed everything with all of those holes in mind, it allows everything to move the way that it should while still being durable. And just in case you were wondering, this is the insole. It's a piece of you can totally remove it. You can put in anything else that you want. It is perforated, so there's a couple of things there. It's going to allow for some airflow and ventilation. And on top of that, this will actually mold to your foot a lot faster than a traditional insole while still retaining a little bit of bounce. But it's still not a great insole. So again, if you want to take this out and swap it for anything else, feel free. It's not glued in. It's super easy to remove and put in anything else. Now the upper is really interesting. That's where they really like change things up between the original model, or I should say the high top model. Mainly because this was all synthetic and textile. It's actually waterproof, which is really cool. This particular colorway has 3M accents and piping, which is awesome. So it's all reflective. Just in case you don't believe me for whatever reason, there it is. It's ultra reflective. This stuff is nuts. But these guys are different. They are still waterproof, mainly because it's a leather-based product, but the leather, it's not leather. It's sustainable. It's the weirdest thing. I never even heard about this until just now. I'm today years old when I found out that you can turn apple skin into leather. I eat apples every day. I would never have thought, you know what, I'm gonna turn this into a shoe. Now you're gonna probably be wondering like, well, if it's apple leather, what the f does that feel like? It feels the way that you would expect. It's not like premium or anything like that. It's very thin. If I was to compare it with anything, it's definitely more on the vinyl side as far as like overall feel. The way that it flexes and creases a little bit different. It does seem to pop back into shape, which is nice. So if you don't like those visible creases, you might like this. I will say that it's not as crease resistant as something like the textiles of the original model, but at the same time, this looks like you could wear it to the office and get away with wearing something super comfortable, but still something that looks like a sneaker. The overlay materials are all synthetic nubuck, so again, nothing premium about the shoe. It's a sustainable option for all of you guys that might want it. And yes, I'm talking to a lot of you vegan sneakerheads, and yes, they exist. I don't know why this is a surprise, but for those of you guys that do not want to wear animal hide or animal-based products at all, this is a shoe and a brand overall that you might want to be interested in looking at if you haven't already. Some cool design features that were carried over from the high top over to the low top would include the overall paneling, the NYC tag at the eye stay area, as well as the 251 at the heel, as well as the heel tab area. One thing that's different though that I thought was really kind of cool is that when you look at traditional tongues on sneakers, they oftentimes have this little fixed lace loop, which is exactly what it's called. That is the industry term, fixed lace loop. But it's not on the low top. They went for an ultra clean look, and the reason why it's not visible here is because they actually moved it. They're on the sides of the tongue. Super weird.
That seems more secure.
That's the thing, like especially with the laces. The laces are super trippy. They're bungee laces, like they're like spandex. They really like stretch and everything, so they don't become unlaced or anything like that once you like adjust everything. So if you're somebody like me that likes to wear your shoes loose, it's gonna work out for you without you having to adjust anything. But if you're somebody that likes to tie your shoes and make them look like this, it's gonna work out for you too. But yeah, I've seen weird things before with the lace loops where they're like crossed and all that stuff because of basketball, obviously. So different applications for different purposes, like they're always trying to like kind of reinvent the wheel. Typically, we always just see them revert right back to the simple middle fixed lace loop. But again, if you were to open these guys up, there's one on the left and right side of the tongue, which is really cool. The overall tongue, the design is the same. So you still have the size label, which is typically inside the shoe on the outside of the shoe. I think that's a nice touch. I just really like that. It's weird, it's unique. I dig it. The sizing, I would actually go down half a size. I feel like they fit a little bit big, they fit a little bit long. That would be for both versions of the shoe, both the high top and the low top. If you're a wide footer going true to size, you should be good to go. Now, do we happen to have time for a question of the day?
Yes, and we're keeping it short and sweet, unless you figure out a way to not make it short and sweet.
Oh, I can do that.
Almond-shaped spoon or round spoon?
Almond?
Yeah.
You mean just like a normal spoon?
Like an ovally spoon.
Or that awkward, like, cupped?
That's what I was thinking, like a soup spoon, but then I went down a little rabbit hole just to like clarify, and there are sets where they're perfectly round.
Nope, don't like it. Sounds weird.
I do hate though when for some weird reason all of our cutlery has been used and you go to like have a bowl of cereal and it's just that like awkward soup spoon.
I've had it where we have the little teaspoon.
The really long one?
Yeah, it's super long and it's got the smallest fucking spoon thingy. And you're just like, great, I'm gonna put these crunch berries in my mouth one at a time.
Well, that's the thing. We also differ on size of spoons that we like to use. I like the normal size spoon.
I'm using the large spoon.
Yeah, he uses the large spoon.
I'm trying to really shovel it in there. Yeah, it works great for Fruity Pebbles, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But I would take that
cereal
weird stirring stick spoon over the soup spoon.
You know which spoon I really dislike is the Panera plastic spoon, because it's not only round, it's kind of small, but then it's also dipped weird. And so it like fits in your mouth all weird, and then you can never slurp up the rest of it, so you feel like you're dunking your spit back into the soup. It's disgusting. You know what one of my favorite spoons is? The spoons that they use at like Asian restaurants. The straight up one where you can put meat on there, noodles, the broth. Oh.
I wouldn't want to eat cereal or ice cream with it.
I didn't say that. I'm talking about like eating a meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm going cereal, I'm going with my giant shovel spoon. Not the tiny spoon, baby spoon, none of that stuff. I've had to use those too, the baby spoons.
Yeah, when our kids were little and those were still floating around the house.
Even sometimes, I don't know why we keep the Yogurtland spoon, but like I've been like, well, that's all I got.
We used to collect the Yogurtland spoons, and
Maybe that's what it was.
I would have our daughter use those as her school spoons, so that way if she happened to toss them, it wasn't...
I like how I had a simple answer this time, and you have helped me turn this into a long conversation.
So everybody, let us know your preferred spoon of choice, but also you have to decide almond or circle, because that was the original question.
Almond all day.
Almond all day.
There you go. And on top of that, let us know what you think about these guys down below in the comment section. Have you ever tried Adams before? If not, maybe you might want to. I think that it's a really cool shoe for what its intended purpose is. It's not a sports shoe. It's straight up lifestyle comfort. Thank you guys so much for everything. We greatly appreciate your guys' support, all the views, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. It's all really helping. So thank you again for everything. We will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.